So the problem that I'm choosing to solve is if you had 500 grams of O2, how many grams of NO2 could you make? So I know that we're going to be going from grams to moles to moles to grams. And I also know that we are starting with 500 grams of O2. So I could fill that in at the beginning over here. And that we need to find grams of NO2. So we can fill that in at the end. Then I'm going to be changing this into an equation form. So again, I'm going to start with 500 grams of O2, and we're going to be multiplying that by our moles, and then multiplying that by our moles, multiplying that by our grams of NO2. Then I'm going to be filling in the bottom parts of the equation. So I know that this is moles of O2, and that means that the bottom will be grams of O2. This is moles of NO2, so the bottom will be moles of O2. And then grams of NO2, that just means moles of NO2 on the bottom. And then next we can work on filling in the numbers for each part of the equation. So to begin over here, we're going to be doing 1 mole of O2 and seeing what that equals in grams. So each oxygen is 15.99 or about 16, and there are 2 of those, so that means 32. So we could just put that on the bottom. And then for moles of NO2 over moles of O2, that is a ratio. So we can find that ratio by looking at our equation. So there are 4 moles of NO2, so you can fill that in here. And then 7 moles of O2, so you can fill that in at the bottom. And then lastly over here, you're going to be finding your grams of NO2. So also we know that this moles of NO2 is just going to be over 1. So your grams of NO2, you're going to break this up, and you can do that by separating nitrogen and oxygen. So we know that each nitrogen is equal to about 14.007, and then our oxygen is equal to about 16, and there are 2 of those. So that's about 32 plus 14.007, and after checking that, I got 46.005. 46.005. Okay, so now that all of our numbers are filled in, we can just work on solving this. So we start with 500 times 1, and that's 500, divided by 32. And that gives us 15.6. And then we're going to be multiplying 15.6 by 4 over 7, which is going to give us 8.9. And then you're going to be multiplying that by 46.005, which is going to be equal to 410.1. And then lastly, you just need to find out what this means, and you could do that by canceling out your moles and moles, your moles and moles, your grams and your grams. So that means we're left with our grams of NO2. So that's what we fill in right here. And that answers the question, how many grams of NO2 you can make with 500 grams of O2.